welcome to my channel. I'm Sam Zagar. I offer something called the Strategy and Authority session. It's a half an hour welcome to human design entry point. But what that session has given me the awareness of is what most people's awareness of human design is at their starting point. Really, it reminds me what it's like to be new to human design. To have this body graph in front of me for the first time and go, what is this thing? Most of my clients who are very new to human design, who are coming for their first session, they have questions about where can I learn more? Where can I get information that's real? Where can I get the source-based information? What do I need to learn? What parts of this should I be learning about? One of the first things I ask people in their strategy and authority session is how comfortable are you labeling different parts of the body graph? If I say center or gate or channel, are you able to identify where those are and what they mean? Well, I'm not actually going to go over how to read the body graph in this video. I'm going to acknowledge language that belongs to the foundational body graph and things that you're going to want to look up or look for or educate yourself on in order to be able to read the body graph at a foundational level for yourself or to guide somebody else through it. The very first, most important foundational place anybody should be starting is with aura, because aura makes the type. And the type is really the most important thing for each person to be made aware of. There are 4 different types. Now, even at that level, people often get very confused about this information and they buy into the wrong information. Without knowing it, they buy into the pop HD that teaches them that there are 5 types. Very quickly, the whole education can go kind of askew or be more confusing than is necessary. So step 1, we learn about the types. We learn about the aura, the mechanics that make the aura, which are the mechanics that make the type. And that is how you figure out what your strategy is going to be. This is the most rudimentary place that you can, or maybe should, start. However, what I'm laying out right now is a very strategic way to approach this information. You'll definitely benefit more from this as a strategic person or as a first-line profile who has a natural want to be incredibly foundational anyway. The next place we're going to look is authority, because strategy and authority are the most important aspects of human design. So if you're going to learn strategy, of course the next thing you're going to learn is going to be authority. There are quite a few different types. The projectors have more variations than any other type when it comes to their authority. After that, you can go in a few different directions. This is where it starts to get a little bit more playful. If you're a sacral being learning about the body graph, really, what you respond to, what you look at and go, what is that? That's really where you should be heading next. If you've already learned strategy and authority, there's so many different directions you could go. But all of the ones I'm going to give you now are still part of the foundational level of the body graph. You can learn about centers. Center definition is going to be what creates the type, is going to be what creates the aura. Centers can only be defined through channels. So if you have a channel defined, again, this contributes to type. If you have a channel, we know right off the bat you're not a reflector. Channels belong to circuitry. There are a few different types of circuitries, and circuitries have different keynotes, which is how you kind of like bring yourself out. Do you empower people? Do you support people? Do you share with people? These are circuitry keynotes. When we're looking at the channel on either end, you're going to have gates. Those gates can either be defined in red or black, which means they're either going to belong to the design side or the personality side. Of the different types of centers there are, some of them have different functions. Some of them are pressure centers. Some of them are awareness centers. Some of them are motor centers. When you look at which ones of these are awareness centers, you can get more information about the streams that run through them. When you're looking at the very basic body graph, you should eventually be able to talk about centers, definition, splits, circuitry, authority, strategy, type, gates, planets. Each gate will belong to a celestial body. What you shouldn't necessarily be able to label from a basic body graph are things about variable, getting into substructure, things like color or tone or base. Those are going to be more advanced subjects, and I wouldn't really venture to learn about them until you've learned a lot of the basics from the regular body graph. But there's always an exception to the rule. So the exception to this rule is learn whether or not you have a strategic or a receptive mind. I put that about as high as learning with strategy and authority. However, you have to have incredibly accurate birth time in order to know whether or not you are a strategic or receptive mind. The value in knowing these is how you're going to learn human design. Knowing whether you're strategic or receptive is going to change how you interact with and use or store the information. That can really help you learn human design in a way that feels more comfortable or appropriate for you. I wanted to provide a list of terms so that if you are someone who is very interested in self-education, the same way that I was, you now have information that you can go and look for. You can go and try and research. However, if you want to learn these things from me, I'm coming out with a new learning experience. The first round of this is going to start in September, Friday, September 13th, 2024. I'm going to start teaching a 10-part course on how to understand and read the foundational basics of human design, how to go over the standard body graph. By the end of this course, you should be very, very, very comfortable talking about anything on a regular body graph. And I think the price of the course is going to surprise you in a really great way. There will be many rounds of this in the future to come, I'm sure. There will be a link below for you to click to see if I'm currently running one and if there's space for you to join if your authority has a yes for it.